they've already announced the main event. Gary and I were talking a little bit about it. Ruben War and BJ Ferguson for the 135-pound title, I believe.
Yeah, the implementation of those pro title fights has really upped the ante with the caliber of fights that Hardrock has attracted at that very top level, which Ferguson and Ruben War certainly fits the bill for that.
Exactly, and we talked about that as well. You know, the growth of Hardrock MMA, and you see, but you still got young guys that are wanting to come into this promotion. You've got Derek Cundiff, 20 years old. You see in his corner here is the guy that's going to be in our main event tonight in Julio Gallegos. Cundiff representing Foundation Fight Team, and that's a unique thing that you get with local MMA that you're not going to see in the higher levels. The guy in the main event is cornering one of his guys earlier on in the night, and that's pretty unique.
Certainly an organic feel to it, and that is something that you get from these local shows.
Cundiff, 28 years old, making his MMA debut here, 5'11", 185 pounds, from Lexington, Kentucky. Got started in MMA and martial arts with combatives in the military. He's also a lieutenant in the Army and now is a federal corrections officer in Kentucky Army National Guardsman. You see those red, white, and blue and camo trunks on Derek Cundiff. Definitely see he's a military veteran. The opponent here, David Schwab, representing Vision MMA in Dayton. He is 1-0 with one knockout. We saw him earlier this year under the Hardrock MMA banner. Says he is a broken rhythm fighter, and we saw his fight earlier this year, his knockout win. He's a unorthodox guy. He's going to go out and throw some strikes from some weird angles and definitely be a weird, you know, not your orthodox type of fighter. And so he's been training martial arts since he was 6, Taekwondo and Judo, but only been training in the MMA, mixed martial arts, for about 6 months. So really kind of
putting it all together.
Putting it all together and kind of basically saying, hey, I want to try out mixed martial arts.
Which, as you know, is an art in its own. You know, you can be a specialist at judo and jiu-jitsu,
right, even
boxing, and actually putting everything together is an entirely different animal.
And he looked like a pretty polished fighter, when he took on Billy Sanders at Hardrock 91.
Heck of a start to his career with a nice knockout.
Building.
Yeah, a nice knockout.
Just
July 29th.
Yeah, just a couple of months into his career at that point. Now he's got even more seasoning, so be really interesting to see the growth that he's had in the last couple of months here, training more with Vision MMA Dayton. Of course, you've got tons of great fighters coming out of that camp. You've got Muhammad Abdullah, Joe Miller, the head coach up there, and also David trains with his brother Stephen Schwab up at Vision as well, so definitely got a great camp behind him. As David Schwab makes his way into the cage, Jason Mono is going to give us our official introductions.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, this fight is in the 185-pound weight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner, weighing at 180 pounds, representing the Foundation from Lexington, Kentucky, Derek D. Cundiff. And introducing his opponent, fighting out of the B2 digital blue corner, weighing at 183 pounds, representing Vision from Dayton, Ohio, David Schwab.
Set to go here, 185-pound battle. Derek Cundiff in the red, white, and blue and camo. David Schwab in the black and red. Rob Mooney is the third man in the cage for this one. And one of the interesting quotes I was able to get from David Schwab, and he actually owns a massage therapy business up in Dayton, says I get to break people in the ring and then fix them later.
Okay. 3 3-minute rounds ahead of us.
No glove touch there from Schwab as he throws that kick.
Oh.
There's another spinning kick there. Cundiff really needs to keep that head. That head kick landed, but he just walked right through it. Needs to keep that left hand up. And that's going to be open when you see the orthodox fighter against the southpaw.
Schwab throwing a variety of kicks early in the
wheel
fight.
Kick there from Schwab. Cundiff not doing much so far, just covering up, but
wow,
big right hand there from Schwab lands.
Cundiff is doing his best right now to stay alive, to survive the early parts of the round.
Another nice body kick there from Schwab landed. Cundiff looks like he may already have a little bit of a mouse under that left eye.
Almost looked like he lost his balance a second ago, almost went down.
Couple of nice leg kicks there from Schwab. Schwab backing up, but still throwing, and now you see some blood coming out of the nose of Cundiff. Cundiff coming forward, but eating a lot of shots here.
Very accurate punching from Schwab early. Sprinkled in with all sorts of different types of kicks, leg kicks, spinning kicks, kicks to the head.
Yeah, I was going to say Schwab has a really interesting stance in that he's standing straight up, but there's a nice kick there. You see that Muay Thai, Taekwondo style background there with that kick where they just come up from out of nowhere.
If you're Cundiff right now, are you thinking you got to get this thing to the ground?
You know, but he hasn't even tried to shoot yet. Schwab has given him plenty of openings here, but he hasn't even tried to change levels and switch things up.
Not much offense out of Cundiff.
Couple of kicks there, front kicks there from Cundiff.
Almost push kicks.
And those are more rangefinders. That might be more of, hey.
Kind of a jab.
Yeah, he wants to try to find his range and see where Schwab is going to settle into the pocket. Schwab throwing nice combos, nice knee to the body there.
Cundiff is catching a lot. His face is opened up in a couple different places right now.
Under a minute to go here in round number 1. David Schwab opening up on Derek Cundiff.
Cundiff doing everything he can to survive the round. It is not looking good for him. Very one-sided round.
And you got to wonder, though, if Schwab, I don't want to say he's going to punch himself out, but he's hitting with a lot of heavy shots here. He's got to be wondering what he's going to do for Cundiff to go down. You see that.
It's not often that you see a fight stopped by the referee without someone going down.
Yeah, and I think he's, you know, in his first amateur fight, you typically get a short leash, but Cundiff doesn't look any worse for the wear. I mean, he's definitely bloodied and battered here, but it's a nice head movement there, but maybe a little bit too little too late with the head movement. And that, I mean, bordered on almost a 10-8 round for me.
Sure.
A lot of damage.
If you
not
believe
really
in
much offense.
If you believe in a 10-8 round outside of a specific point deduction, then that would be it.
And I think a lot of people, say you at least have to have a knockdown. But that was pretty dominant without a knockdown. Probably just a 10-9 round, but definitely a close. You see the replay here. See these pinpoint just right hands there from Schwab as he was just feeding them. And the biggest thing that Schwab was able to do is he was able to keep teeing off and not have to worry about the counter from Cundiff, because the counter really wasn't coming all that much. He was just, when Schwab was throwing, Cundiff was worried more about covering up and not really trying to counter him.
If you're Julio Gallegos, what are you telling Cundiff right now?
I think you're telling him you got to throw some heavy leather in this second round. You got to start throwing that overhand, maybe try to catch him on these counters.
Maybe shoot, try to take this down. I don't know what type of a ground game really he has, what type of takedown experience.
He has the Army combatives experience, but I'm sure definitely training with Julio Gallegos, he's going to be pretty good on the ground. But, we didn't even see an inkling of an attempt to shoot in that first round. So I'm sure that definitely the game plan, at least here heading in, was, let's try to stand with him, but they might have to change that up here heading into round number 2.
Not often that you'll see a fight like this completely turn around in the second round, but I've seen crazier things.
See what Cundiff, he definitely looks like a tough guy. Ate a lot of shots there in that first round. See more of those push kicks here. Schwab now just looks like he's settled in and comfortable. He's looking for more of the same. There's a push kick there from Schwab. Schwab with that heel kick. He wants a highlight reel knockout.
Schwab won his first fight at Hardrock 91, July 29th. If I'm Schwab right now, I'm thinking, man, I would like to have a second knockout on my resume.
Yeah, I think he's probably thinking the same thing, but he's also probably hoping that, hey, you know what, I'm getting some good cage time here. I'm getting some good experience against a tough guy. There are just some guys you're not going to be able to finish, and I'm not sure. I don't want to necessarily say that about Cundiff, but he looks like a tough guy. It looks like it's going to take a lot for him to go
It almost
down.
looks like Rob Mooney is going to have to stop the fight. before Cundiff will go down. We'll see.
And as I mentioned in that first round, Schwab has his chin and his head straight up here, but he's not worried really much about the striking of Cundiff at all. But now we see some blood coming out of his nose, and I didn't even see anything land. Head kick, and that's a knock. That's got to be the end of the fight there. He's done. There's a head kick that landed flush on the side of the head. And that was about a centimeter from being on the button, but still it knocked Cundiff down. Here's the replay. Well, that's the replay of the leg kick. But that was a beautifully timed head kick there. What a performance from David Schwab. There's the head kick, and you see Cundiff drop. You could actually see the blood spread on the side of the face from where that kick landed on Cundiff.
Great instant replay, courtesy of our man Tim Bryan, Matt McCarthy. We appreciate all they do for us. What a spectacular second fight for David Schwab.
Yeah, 2-0, and I mean, that's the type of fight that you want at 2-0. A guy who doesn't have as much experience, but just a tough dude, and I'm sure Schwab had to kind of dig deep and go pretty deep into his arsenal to put away Derek Cundiff in that fight, but nevertheless, he's still undefeated, unblemished at 2-0 now.
Ladies and gentlemen, 1 minute, 19 seconds of round number 2. Your winner via TKO, David Schwab.
David Schwab, 2-0 now here at Hardrock MMA 95. Think he likes fighting in this building. Fought here twice, 2 wins, 2 knockouts.
Not far of a drive from up in Dayton.
Also, I think he probably likes fighting in Kentucky, because in Ohio, as amateurs, you're not able to throw head kicks. And that would definitely take a lot out of his game.
Sure.
He'd like to throw. He threw a lot of kicks and a lot of head kicks.
A lot of his attacks were based on kicks to the body, kicks to the legs, and then sprinkling in some head kicks, which obviously is what won the fight for him at the end.